Welcome to day 7 and day 8 of the Inside Out project. This is a 2-for-1 day. I'm combining day 7 and day 8 into the same video. This is going to be a tough one for me. The past few days have been really challenging, and I think I'm going to have a hard time getting through this video, but I'm going to do my best, and I've made some notes here to kind of stay on point and stay focused. So, day 6, I was feeling pretty good, upbeat. I had done some clearing, connecting with myself, doing some trauma clearing, just the stuff that was basically on the surface, which allowed me to make some space for some more positive, connected feelings. I've been pretty numb and anxious and disassociated, I think, for the past few years. I've had some pretty heavy stuff going on. And the only way I could really get through it was to just basically cut myself off from processing it until I had the safe space to do that. So here I am. January is gonna kill me. Day 7, I started feeling pretty apathetic, disconnected, which was quite a contrast from day 6 because I was feeling quite positive and upbeat. So when day 7 started, I was just feeling disconnected. Nothing strong in particular, just not really present. I was really tired. I was feeling really tired. I remember it felt like crashing. Felt like I was recovering from something, like a hangover or something like that. That kind of persisted on to feeling like just pure anxiety, withdrawal, feeling panic. I was getting some pretty severe heart palpitations, like butterflies in my stomach, butterflies in my chest. I felt like alarmed, panicked, like something was severely wrong. I was exhausted. When I went to do my self-check-in, normally I have the experience that I kind of sit down with myself, like a little me and a big me, and we kind of talk about what I'm feeling and connect to my whatever I'm dealing with at the moment. So when I went to do this self-check-in, there was nothing to check in with. I couldn't connect at all, which is the first time that's happened. So that was a little bit strange, and I kind of just let it be, observed it. And then as the day persisted, I got more wired and tired feeling. I didn't end up doing my yoga. I didn't end up doing my self-hypnosis. I decided that the best thing I could do was go to bed early and get a good night's sleep and pick up the following day, which is also why I didn't record the video. But what ended up happening is I ended up staying up until 5 o'clock in the morning instead, which is not so unusual. But I was just very kind of compulsively checking social media, just trying to find any distraction I could. I woke up after 2 or 3 hours of sleep and I was wide awake, couldn't sleep. I started my day around like 7:30, 8 o'clock after not going to bed till 5 or 6. Like, it was really short. that I slept, so I was pretty tired. So that was this morning. So this morning began day 8, because I had kind of dropped the ball yesterday on a lot of my self-care routine. I started into that early on. I did my AM and PM gratitude exercises. I did twice the yoga. Actually, before I get into that, I started my day. I did my gratitude exercises, my self check-in. I was starting to feel more of that panic. I had like super bad, intense butterflies in my chest, in my heart, and in my stomach. It was like standing on top of a building 100 stories above the ground looking down. Just total panic and terror, and it was like somebody had left me on top of a building and knowing the only way I could get down was to jump. Just complete. My body was in full alarm mode. I was getting palpitations again. I don't really like get out of breath. Like, it doesn't feel like a panic attack as people describe, like they're having a heart attack to me. For me, it's more like a terror. It's like, I don't know, like you're swimming in deep water with a shark. It's trying to kill you. Just terror, pure terror. Just sick, like intense, all-consuming, entire body response of just panic. Fun, good times. So I was dealing with that, feeling pretty isolated. I was having flashbacks of abandonment and rejection. So I had to do a really solid check-in, and it wasn't any longer than usual. I did like my 10-minute check-in, but it was just really, really intense. So when I did my check-in, I was having really bad chest pains, heart palpitations, like they had been building over the past 2 days, and like I can literally feel physical contractions in my heart and in my stomach, like my gut, and really bad butterflies, and it doesn't feel good. So I sat with that. I did my self check-in. When I checked in with myself, I just sat with like the terror and the rejection and the abandonment and the flashbacks of it and the multiple situations of re-traumatizing, reliving the same panic and hysteria that I've really cut myself off from, because when it's actually happened, I don't let myself feel that. My body feels it, but I shut it down. Outwardly, I don't react and I don't respond. So I have a very controlled outward reaction, but internally, my insides are just melting. So I've had many incidents of that, and in order to stay safe and in control, I just buried it, sucked it up, told myself it wasn't happening, told my body it wasn't happening. And so yeah, I have a lot of those incidents of just being involved with toxic people and setting myself up for re-traumatizing scenarios of just being betrayed or just taken advantage of and really not treated well. So that's hard to admit to myself, because I like to pretend I'm in control, and owning that and owning all the horrible feelings that go with it, and the fact that I've refound that scenario in so many ways, so many times in so many ways, whether it's through like shitty employers or toxic landlords or bad partners or disloyal friends. I don't know, like there must be something in that scenario that I'm really trying to teach myself, because I keep going back to recreating it in all different ways. So I don't have those people in my life anymore, and that's great. But unfortunately, all the trauma that I was living with while it was happening, I'm still carrying around. So I'll get in unrelated scenarios that will trigger, and that stuff just comes right back for me. I get triggered by little things that are totally unrelated, and the next thing I know, I'm back in that situation in my head. So that's a big part of doing this process and clearing things. And like I said in the beginning, I didn't really know what this was. I knew that I was trying to change my internal state to create a more satisfying and successful life, particularly in relationships and career and contribution. And as it's progressed, it's become all about processing these old scenarios and emotions. So that was a big surprise for me. I don't know why, because it wasn't far below the surface when I started. So I'm not sure how I managed to become in such denial about it that I didn't recognize that this is what was going to come up. So today I did use music. That was fun, both to connect to just some of my feelings of brokenness, and also for uplifting, dance, passion, connecting. So I had my check-ins, and once I finished checking in, then I dealt with physical sensations, the palpitations, the butterflies, and I sat with that, and it just broke me wide open, split me wide open. So I had a nice little breakdown there, but it was only about 10 minutes. Like 20 minutes was for the whole process. By the end of it, I was feeling like I cleared a lot of it. Like the palpitations went away, the butterflies were gone. I still have some of the anxiety, like the deep grief and terror is gone. The actual physical palpitations are gone. I still have like a little bit of butterflies, anxiety, like I'm still carrying some of this, but I unblocked a good chunk of it, so that was helpful. Then I did 10 minutes of stretching to kind of reconnect to my body, and then I did not do my yoga yesterday, so today I did a solid hour after that, which I think really helped, because it allowed me to kind of ground everything after going through such an intense purging. But it really was like splitting myself wide open, my insides on the surgery table, I can almost take it back to origination, because I know this is a childhood familial pattern. I know that it's rooted in my childhood, but I still can't quite connect to it there. I'm going as far back as the red balloon, but that's as far as I'm able to consciously remember having these feelings of just complete helplessness and terror. I've had to deal with the fact that I'm recognizing that I've been kind of setting myself up for repeated failure by selling myself short and not really holding out long enough in career and relationships areas, because I'm avoidant of both career and relationships, because I really connect both of them to painful and satisfying situations. I get to a point that I've been avoidant for so long that I have to accept some of my options. I mean, I'm a human being, eventually I have to connect with someone, and I have to pay the bills, so I've got to take some form of employment that isn't always the best option. Or I'll start working on my own projects, things start going well, and then I start getting concerned about financial commitments, and I'll kind of jump on the next thing that comes up. I kind of do that in relationships as well. So this tendency to not quite hold out long enough is it's putting me in places that I shouldn't end up, that I shouldn't be. So having to own that and recognize that is lots of fun. Another area I need to work out. I need to recognize my value as a partner and a developer and stop taking less than I deserve, and I'm really bad for that. So that was a big 2 days. I have not slept much, but I'm feeling pretty good. Usually the immediate after effect of clearing some of this stuff is that I feel lighter. I feel like I have space for other feelings and emotions and experiences, relationships, opportunities. Makes me feel a lot more hopeful. Also, I feel very alive, which I haven't felt in a long time. I've been feeling very robotic, disconnected, and even though I'm like, even though it feels like razor blades, it definitely feels very present and alive. Raw. Feels freaking raw. But it feels, I feel, and that's a big improvement. So that's my check-in for day 7 and day 8 of the Inside Out project on manifesting reality from the inside out, healing, trauma recovery, reconnecting, healing trauma bonds, dealing with cPTSD, all of the above, ACOA issues. That's all overlapping. So, see you tomorrow.